everyone, it's Karina with Karina Loves to Plan. Thank you for joining me in my little corner of the internet where I talk all things planners, fountain pens, and fountain pen inks. Today, I just felt like doing a collection video of all the Sailor pens I currently own. So just to recap, if you are looking at my collection this time last year, so June 2025, I had no Sailors in my collection. And then I purchased this Wancher frozen sake at the Pacific Northwest Pen Show in July. And then I purchased the Hachimonjiya Kubozakura at the San Francisco Pen Show in August. And then, gosh, it feels like these blew up on me and I just couldn't control it anymore. And then with the Sailor Hachimonjiya Geo Amethyst, I ended up getting this one in December. And then I purchased this most recent one, this Sailor Pro Gear Iris Nebula, in April. So in the span of less than a year, I have accumulated 4 Sailor pens, and I wanted to go over each one, do a quick writing sample. The only one that's not inked is the Wancher frozen sake, but the other 3 are inked, and I can show you the writing sample for each of these. So let's get started. So the first one I decided to purchase was this Sailor Frozen Sake fountain pen, and this is a Wancher exclusive, and this basically evokes the elegance of Japanese history. So this pen is meant to express the purity of the clear liquid sake, so the Japanese rice wine, and it also is representative of the frozen glacier on the top of the mountain that melts and flow naturally through the river. So it's just got such a beautiful translucent body with a little bit of silver shimmer, and then you've got the clear finials, or not the clear, but like a little bit of the translucent as well. The thing with this particular Pro Gear model, I guess, is that it has a beautiful nib design here. Let's focus on that. My camera will let me focus. And it also says that it's an 18 karat nib. It also has Wancher on there, and it's beautifully engraved. One thing I will say is that normally Pro Gears come with a 21 karat nib, and then the Pro Gear Slims come with a 14 karat nib. And the collaborations that I've purchased, each of these, so this one, all have the 18 karat nib, and it's got this beautiful design on here as well. I am just loving the exclusive design on that. The design on here is supposed to be akin to the feeling of drinking a cup of the luxurious Daiginyo sake, which is the highest grade sake, and I apologize for mispronouncing that. So you're going to get a mix of the fragrant aroma of the sake, the crisp, clean texture, and then that blissful taste. So that's supposed to also be represented in how this nib writes, and I'll show you that it's going to be a similar nib experience to the Kubozakura and the Jhuyo Amethyst, but I purchased this at the Pacific Northwest Pen Show, and one of the reasons that I purchased it was because really this was the only pen that I purchased at the Pacific Northwest Pen Show. I kept going by Pen Realm's table and just looking at the pens, waiting for one to call out to me, and this one certainly did. And it had been a couple of years since I had used a Sailor, so I was really unsure whether I wanted to purchase one again. And this one came with a fine nib, but what I think motivated me to purchase this was because I was purchasing it from Pen Realm. I had the opportunity to get this tuned and smoothed by Kirk Spear. One of the reasons that I had stopped using Sailor was because I wasn't necessarily a fan of the feedback, but also I hadn't tried their fine nibs before. I had always written with the medium fine or a medium, but never with a fine. So I wanted to have Kirk tune and smooth this for me, and then as soon as he did, I loved this pen. It fits, actually, it's a little bit small for most people, and then if you actually post it, it does make it a reasonable size in the hand. The cap doesn't seem to bother me too much in that perlicue area, but it makes it a good size for the hand. And I'll just briefly go over some measurements of what a Pro Gear model, which are these models, what the measurements are. So the diameter of the grip section is going to be about 10.9 millimeters, and then the diameter of the body is about 16 millimeters. That actually doesn't seem right. Sorry, the diameter of the cap is 16 millimeters, and then the length of it when it's posted is 5.9 inches or 14.9 centimeters, and then the length of this capped is 12.8 centimeters, and then when it's uncapped, it is 11.5 centimeters. So some people might find this small. This is a good size for me. The Pro Gear Slim is definitely going to be smaller than this, and I find the Pro Gear Slim just a little bit too small for my hand. So that is the Wancher frozen sake. Let's just go again over the details here. So you've got the beautiful design on the finial, and you've got Wancher on the cap band, and just the beautiful blue with the silver shimmer. So stunning, and I was not disappointed by the writing experience with this pen. So that is the first in the resurgence of my Sailor pen collection. This is the Wancher Frozen Sake. The next Sailor that I purchased was not too long after that. This was the Sailor Hachimonjiya Kubozakura Bloom Pink, and I purchased this from the San Francisco Pen Show in August of 2025. So basically a month after I purchased my frozen sake, I decided to purchase this one. And the reason that I made this purchase, this was not a planned purchase at all from the San Francisco Pen Show. I basically remember going over to the Hachimonjiya table, seeing all of their pens, and then I decided to purchase this because 5 minutes from that point, I had a nib tuning appointment with Kirk Spear. So I knew that if I wanted to buy this, Kirk Spear was right there to tune and smooth this for me the way that I wanted. Now, on that note, I know I hadn't tried either of these without the tuning and smoothing. So I didn't really know whether I would like the feedback on the fine nib. I was basically going with my experience and basically having Kirk tune this for me just the way that I like it. And Kirk definitely knows the way that I like my nibs tuned and smooth. But let's have a look at this particular pen. So if you can see the top of the finial there, the beautiful design. I love the pink of the finials here, but I also love the creamy pink of the body. And then you've got the rose gold clip and cap band. And then when we open that up, you've got the beautiful engraving on the 18 karat fine nib here. Absolutely stunning. And again, fits beautifully in the hand. You can post this if you'd like. It's just wonderful. I purchased this at the San Francisco Pen Show for $350 US, and that was in cash. But since then, the price has gone up dramatically. And I think when they had done the pricing for this at the Tokyo International Pen Show, which was only a few months later, the price had already increased then. So this pen is definitely one that is highly sought after. It's a limited edition, and it was created as a collaboration between the Japanese manufacturer Sailor and the Yamagata-based stationery store Hachimonjiya. And basically this pen was designed to honor the majestic Kubozakura, which is the 1,200-year-old cherry blossom tree in Nagai City, designed as a national natural monument of Japan. So the resin cap and barrel feature a soft pink hue, and it's mixed with this Meta Shine glass flakes to create that sparkling look of a blooming sakura. It's elegantly finished with that pink gold trim and a clear pink finial and end cap. And like I said, it has that beautiful 18 karat gold nib, which is not usually typical for a Pro Gear. The Pro Gear normally comes with a 21 karat nib, and it's got the laser engraving of the sakura's journey from bud to full bloom. Absolutely lovely. This is currently inked actually with, I believe it's Robert Oster Copper, and I'll do a quick writing sample of that as well. Whew. Okay, so come the end of August, and I had my two Sailors. I was really, really happy with it. And then this ended up showing on Good Pen Life's Instagram. Good Pen Life is a third-party seller on Instagram and is able to get Japanese exclusives that are not normally available in North America. And I had purchased a platinum actually from Good Pen Life and had really great experience with them, so decided to also purchase this from them as well. Now this one, I wasn't sure whether I would like it, but when I finally decided to bite the bullet and purchase this, I thought, you know, the purple is beautiful, but I also love that this is the second edition of the Hachimonjiya Geo Amethyst, also known as the Rime on Trees Amethyst. This is another one that is highly sought after from Hachimonjiya, and this is the second edition. The first edition, I think, I don't have the first edition, but I think the first edition didn't have the transparent finials and the body was a slightly different color. But basically this one is inspired by snow monsters or ice-covered trees, which are found on the Zhao mountain range at dawn. And this captures a rare winter spectacle where the morning light casts soft amethyst and quartz tones across the landscape. I could definitely see that with this pen and just the way that that sparkles. There's very subtle shimmer in the body, and I really have a thing for clear or transparent finials. I just love the contrast between the body and then the clear finials. There's something about that that I really love. I really do like having the finials be different to the body itself. It adds that nice contrast to the pen. Basically, this is the updated version, which features the softer semi-transparent purple, and it's the PMMA resin, and it's embedded with that delicate subtle shimmer, and the end caps are completely clear resin, which represents the transparency of the crisp winter air. And the trim is in a warm rose gold finish. The 18 karat gold nib is designed or has the intricate design of the snow crystal motif. So beautiful. And I love that these collaborations with Hachimonjiya and Wancher all have their own specific customized nibs. It just adds to the overall design of it. Now this particular one, and I'm looking at the pricing on my spreadsheet here, because I do realize that these particular sailors are definitely higher priced than what you would normally pay for a sailor, although sailors are generally more expensive nowadays anyway. But this one, purchased from Good Pen Life on Instagram, I had paid $500 Canadian, and that also included shipping, and I also ended up having to pay customs on top of that as well, so a little bit more expensive as well. And I am sorry, I lied. The Kubozakura was $390 cash at the San Francisco Pen Show, and then the Wancher was $300 US, the Pacific Northwest Pen Show. So you can definitely see that these are slightly higher priced sailors, and it's not going to be worth it to everyone, but for me, I absolutely love these. The main difference with this one was that I didn't have Kirk of Pen Realm to be able to tune and smooth this for me. So this one definitely had the feedback that Sailor would normally have, and I actually really like it. I didn't think I would, but it actually writes beautifully. So that one is the Jhuyo Amethyst. And I purchased that in, when did I purchase? December. So by the end of 2025, I now had 3 sailors, and I had started the year with 0. So at the end of 2025, that was my sailor collection, and then I was pretty happy with that. Then come into 2026, I didn't really have a plan to purchase any more sailors. I was pretty happy with what I had. And then at a fountain pen meetup, I tried Anne's extra fine sailor nib, and I'm still blaming you for this, and absolutely loved the way that the sailor extra fine nib wrote. And I thought, if I'm going to get another sailor, it will have to have an extra fine nib, and it may be one that isn't necessarily a color that I would go for, but I also have in mind to be able to send this to Bukomondo to be able to get this with urushi and rodin, and then that will basically round out my sailor collection. So this particular sailor is a pro gear. It's not in collaboration with any other stationery store. This is the Sailor Pro Gear in Iris Nebula. I purchased this from PenChalet in April of this year, and I was able to purchase this with credit as well as I don't think you were able to use any discount codes, but I was able to use my PenChalet credit. But this was also, compared to other sailors that I was already seeing at other retailers, this was lower in price than other sailors that I'd seen. So I think regular price for this was, let me take a look here. Regular price for this was, I think, $400, but then PenChalet had it down to $360. And then with credit, I only had to pay about $120 on it, I think. So I was able to use PenChalet credit to purchase this, so yay. Now, this isn't normally a sailor that I would have purchased, but I purchased this because it has the 21 karat extra fine nib with the, I say regular, but the normal sailor engraving. And you've got the clear finials with the sailor anchor there. But now that I have it, it is a beautiful resin. You've got the black resin with the blue shimmer, and then you've got the blue transparent resin with the shimmer there as well. But I really love the clear finials with a little bit of shimmer in them as well. And this extra fine nib writes beautifully. It doesn't feel like it has a ton of feedback, but that's probably because I'm getting used to extra fine and fine nibs of the Japanese kind. So absolutely love this. But I do plan on, and probably some of you are thinking like, why are you going to change that up? I am planning to get this added, or get some urushi and rodin work done on this as well. But this Iris Nebula is, let me just take a look here. One major thing I will say about Sailor's Gold fountain pen nibs, they are known for their feedback. And if you're not familiar with what feedback is, it's basically that sensation with that as you write, it's going to be normal to feel the vibrations of the nib as it goes through or goes over the paper, and you'll be able to really feel the nib on the paper having that, what do I want to say, interaction. But a lot of people liken the sensation to writing with a pencil. So I think it's going to be difficult for some people to be able to differentiate between feedback and whether a nib is scratchy or smooth. But I think the more that you try pens and the more that you write with pens, you're going to discover what has feedback and what is like glassy smooth and what is scratchy versus feedback. So, all right. So those are the 4 sailors that I currently have. And this is probably the last time we'll see the Iris Nebula like this. I will be sending this off shortly to Japan for the urushi rodin work, and I won't get this back actually for quite a few months. So just take a picture of that here. All right, so those are the 4 sailors. I'm going to do a quick writing sample with these 3, and we'll be right back. So I'm just doing a quick writing sample in a Hobonichi notebook, and I love this because it's got the Tomoe River paper, but also it's those really, really small nibs. So this is the 18 karat fine nib on the Kubozakura. This one has been tuned and smoothed by Kirk Spear. So just a quick writing here. So it's a sailor. Hachimonjiya. Kubozakura. And it is definitely smoother. I had Kirk tune this so that he removed some of that feedback for me. And some of you are going to be like, why would you remove that? And that was because I was, like, from previous experience, not sure if I would like the feedback on the sailor. I love the way this writes though, and I'm so glad that I have it. So you can see how fine those lines write. And then I will do the writing sample with my Geo Amethyst. This is the one that has not been tuned and smoothed by Kirk Spear. the Sailor. Hachimonjiya. And I know this isn't going to be the most scientific test because these are inked with different inks. Geo Amethyst. I can definitely feel the feedback on this one a little bit more, but it is still smooth. And I love how fine and crisp these lines are. I'm not sure if you can really tell too much of a difference. I feel like the Geo Amethyst is slightly finer, and maybe that's because this one has been tuned and smoothed for me, but still both write absolutely beautifully. And then actually, why am I doing this? I didn't write. So this is a 18K fine, and that one has not been tuned and smoothed by Kirkspire, whereas this one, I'm actually going to put a star next to this. This is an 18K fine. Beautiful. And then last but not least, we have the Sailor Pro Gear Iris Nebula. And you can see how much finer that is here. This is inked with a Pilot Iroshizuku ink, so, but still look at how crisp and fine that is. A little bit more feedback because it is a finer nib, but it's not scratchy. I really, really like that. So this one is a 21 karat extra fine. Stunning. Oh, love it. Love it, love it. So that is my Sailor Pro Gear collection. I didn't think I would own this many, and I don't plan to purchase any more. I have the nibs that I like. I have the extra fine and the fine nibs. I really don't need any more. This collection basically rounds it out for me, and I will be very happy once this is or has its urushi and rodin work done. All right, but that is it for me. Thank you all so much for watching and for indulging me in showing off my Sailor Pro Gear collection. If you have any questions about these, please let me know down below. Thank you all so much for watching and have yourselves a great day.